his family.
Yes, was out on the field pretty much the whole entire first half.
We got a lot of great games. I'm highlighting 2 SEC games.
And we say good morning or good evening. I don't know. It's midnight Central Time, just past that, and we are here live on the Touchdowns live show. The bracket is in, and we're talking about it. And we're going to go back and forth, kind of do some region by region, uh, talking points, picks, everything like that. Also, stay tuned here at Ballard Sports Media for our BSM official bracket. And probably for the hell of it, I'm going to do a Bama bias bracket like I did last year. But with that being said, Mayhem, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ballard. So, like you said, we're going to do a couple of brackets. Now, when we talk about these brackets, I wanna say something because it's very important to understand this. That these are just pretty much predictions, and these are pretty much like guesses, and we're trying to make logical guesses out of them. Okay, so it's not like it's not like we know who's going to win, because obviously upsets happen all the time in these brackets, and nobody has ever gotten a perfect bracket. So I just want to throw
And
that.
by the way, too, I want to throw this out there. If we are bold enough to make a crazy upset pick in the first round or something, like, it's fair game to not, like, don't walk off the set or something like that, because this stuff, it's called March Madness for a reason, right? I mean,
Yeah. So also another thing is that there's a strategy to picking these games, not necessarily, you want to have at least one 5-12 upset. You want to have, maybe an 8-9 upset. Maybe a 1-4 upset. You want to have like at least one upset, or maybe 1 or 2 upsets in each round, maybe possibility. Or maybe you don't have any, but I have, I want to go ahead and get right on into. I want to go ahead and get right on into it. So we have the South region, West region. We have the Midwest region as well. So that's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4: South, West, East, and Midwest. I was thinking that you can take on the give me a second here. You can take on the East, Ballard. You can do the East bracket and one other one, and then I can do the Midwest and also one other one. So you get you.
So let's do. I'll do the. What if I did the top half of the bracket and you do the bottom half, and I'll get East and South, and then you can get West and Midwest.
Yeah, right, let's do that.
I think that's fair because both of our teams, believe it or not, are in the bracket. And if I'm giving you the chance to give Georgia a run if you wanted to, and we'll see what I do with Alabama. I probably won't pick them to win it all, but we're going to have to dive into some of these matchups.
All right, let's get started.
All right, you want to start us off first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the Midwest.
with the Midwest. All right, I got to scroll down here. Okay, first game up. Houston and who is this? SIUE. I got to see who this is real quick. But it doesn't. Edwardsville Cougars. Anyway, uh, so I might know who you're picking here. It's probably going to be Houston, but talk to me about what you like about. Well, let's just be honest. You probably know a lot about Houston and not so much the other team, right?
I mean, right now, Houston is favored by like 50 minus 50,000 on the money line. Their
Okay.
spread is 28.5 points. So they are a huge favorite to win this game. SIUE is a huge underdog as the 16 seed. Some top players, LJ Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp for Houston. And then for the other team, you got Rashawn Taylor and Brian Taylor. Some notable wins for Houston comes with on the road at Kansas Jayhawks, on the road at Arizona Wildcats, on the road at Texas Tech Red Raiders, which all them teams are currently in this bracket as well. So some notable wins there. For some notable wins for the other team, they went on the road at Indiana State Sycamores and won, and then they won at home versus Ball State Cardinals, and then they won on the road Southeast Missouri State Redhawks. So you can kind of tell that this other team really hasn't had any notable wins. They had a chance to have some notable wins, but they lost to teams like Indiana on the road, Illinois on the road, and they weren't necessarily close. So with that being said, I say all this to say I am going to make my selection and pick Houston to win this. They are the number one seed for a reason. They are red hot right now, and they're looking to make a big run deep into this bracket.
Absolutely. I think Houston's a really good team. And again, I would say after what I've seen the past 2 or 3 years, and I think it's been with Purdue both times, but we do see upsets right out the gate. Don't rule it out for teams like, I mean, you see Florida on here with Norfolk State, pretty good team there. Uh, don't rule it out, but I think that's 1 in a million chances. You have to take the number one seed in these matchups, at least to begin with, and someone out there is probably staying up all night picking every 16 seed in the round of 64, and they're going to make a lot of money if one of them breaks a bracket or something.
For sure.
So with that being said, I guess remind me again. So you're doing Midwest. I need to come up to the top, or I could. The South and the West for me.
No, I'm doing West and Midwest. You're doing the South and the other one, North.
Right. Okay, so I'm doing the top, you're doing the bottom, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll come up here. I want to go ahead and look at. I guess I'll look at the Auburn and I think that's Alabama State, and I'm not sure who it is. That who else it could be, but I think the only thing I would say about this game possibly is Auburn is a dominant team that has had only 1 or 2 losses this year, has looked like and they are the number one overall seed. They are the best in the business this year, especially in the SEC. When you look at it, and it's one of those things with Auburn. Like, this is one of their better teams that they've had since Bruce Pearl's been there. They only have 5 losses on the year. 3 of them came late. Texas A&M, Alabama, and of course Tennessee the other night in the SEC tournament. But I look at Janai Broome being that guy. He's averaging 18.9, count it 19 points per game. He's got about 3 assists per game, 51.3 field goal percentage. Also, watch out for Chad Baker Mazzara. This guy knows where to find the ball and steal it. He averages about a steal per game, so that's pretty good for him. Just a lot of great talent there on the Plains. And I think Bruce Pearl's put together one of his better teams. Now, we'll have to see that play out on the court coming up this week. But I think we'd be stupid to pick against them in the round of 64 here.
For sure.
All right.
So we come back down to the Midwest here, and we're going to take a look at Gonzaga versus my Georgia Bulldogs. You know, I am a big Georgia Bulldogs fan. It doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever it is. I do pay all my attention to the football team, of course, as I am a much bigger football fan than I am other sports, but I do follow online and I do watch some of the basketball games and baseball games. I've actually attended a baseball game, Georgia baseball game. It was a few years ago, Georgia versus Arkansas. Arkansas was the 5th ranked team, and we were able to sweep them in a game of 3. So I was able to watch that. But we're talking about basketball here. My Georgia Bulldogs take on Gonzaga. This is an uphill climb for my Georgia Bulldogs. Last time we seen the Georgia Bulldogs, they lost to Oklahoma in the SEC tournament. You know, Gonzaga has some key players, as in Graham Ike and Khalif Battle. You have Georgia's top players is in Asa Noel and Silas Demary. Gonzaga is favored by 6.5 points, and the money line is minus 260. So this is an 8-9 matchup. Some notable wins under Gonzaga. You had Baylor Bears. They beat pretty handily. They went on the road to Indiana and won. They went on the road at St. Mary's and took a win as well. As far as Georgia's notable wins, they beat Kentucky and they beat the Florida Gators, okay, which a lot of people have as their winner in a lot of the brackets so far. So this is not impossible for Georgia to win, but Gonzaga is just red, fiery hot, and I'm going to make an unbiased pick. You know, if I was being biased, I would just say Georgia's going to upset this team. But Gonzaga is looking to make its 10th straight Sweet 16. You know, we have a couple of good guys that we can lean on to make this upset. But whenever I look at the two teams, and like I said, anything can happen. But if I had to make a pick and I had to bet my house on it, or if I had to bet, you know, anything on it, my gut feeling is saying Gonzaga is going to win this game. They are the favorite. They are the 8th seed, and Georgia is the 9th seed. That don't really matter whenever we're talking about this tournament here, but I'm still going to go with the favorite with Gonzaga because, you know, although Georgia's had a great season and we were able to rebound off of a couple of losses there. Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about firing our head coach, literally just a few weeks ago. And then now everybody loves our head coach at Georgia. So because we made it here to the tournament, but I do think we're going to be a first round exit. So go ahead and give me Gonzaga to win this matchup.
I already clicked it for you there. You hit some good points, though. I think you just got to go with like the more experienced in this game. I think Georgia's going in a good direction as far as men's basketball, and maybe they get back to it next year. I don't know, and they could pull an upset here, but Gonzaga's been there, done that, and you just know that no matter where they're ranked in the bracket, they always love to go on a good run. So up next, yeah. So what do we have up next? I guess I'll come back up here. Some of these games are playing games, and we're waiting on some 16 seeds. I don't even know who these teams are. To be honest, I'll have to look real quick. Let me see. But the winner of whatever game this is going to be playing Duke. And it looks like that's on Thursday. So this is This is part of the first four, is it not? I think it is. American University or Mount St. Mary's. Either way, whoever wins that game, it's very, like I said, I know Purdue's taken some slip ups in that first round the past couple years. It's very hard to pick that on a bracket and not look stupid if it doesn't pull through. So I got to go with Duke here to win whoever they play. Now, keep in mind too, Mayhem, we can always come back to this and lock in a different pick before the game tips off if we wanted to. But I think you and I can both agree that Duke is going to be pretty solid to win their first game in this tournament, no matter who they face.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna get to that point a little bit later in the show. I do want to say something, but I want to make sure we get done with our first round bracket before I say it. But let's go ahead and move on to the Clemson versus McNeese. Right now, this is going to be where I make a bold take, not in picking the upset. I'm not picking the upset here. So, spoiler, I'm picking Clemson to win. But Clemson is favored by 7.5 points. Money line minus 340. Clemson's top players is Chase Hunter and Ivan Sheffield. And then you got, for McNeese, you got Aylin Breed and Javon Garcia. Some notable wins for Clemson. They won on the road at Penn State. They beat Kentucky. They went on the road and beat Pittsburgh Panthers. They beat North Carolina Tar Heels. They beat Duke. They beat SMU Mustangs. And this is Clemson School's best 27 wins, like I said, including victories over Kentucky and Duke. Clemson's just red hot right now. McNeese has a couple of notable wins under teams like Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Illinois State. The competition.
Sorry, Corpus Christi, not crispy.
Well, I say that to say that you can tell the level of competition that Clemson plays versus McNeese plays is definitely a gap there when we're talking how good Clemson is. Clemson, this is their best season in all of program history. They are going to make a deep run in this bracket. They are fiery hot. I know I said that about the other teams as well, but we got a lot of heavy hitters in this first round. I'm gonna pick Clemson to go ahead and win that game.
I like the pick. you do see a lot of upsets in a 5-12 game. I just don't think this is one of them. Now, McNeese is really good, especially on the inside shooting, but Clemson has just had some guys this year, man, and it just seems as if everything's lining up for them. I like what they have. They come into this game favored by 7.5 points. This is a team that is coming off a really close loss to Louisville. This is a team with Chase Hunter, Jaden Zachary on offense, Ian Shefflin. It leads in rebounds per game on the team, 9.4. So this is a team that has some tall dudes on defense, has some good guys on the inside offensively, and I think ultimately it's going to take them really far. So I do like the pick for Clemson, but I say be careful because the 8-9 and the 5-12 games are where the upsets and mistakes are made.
For sure. I mean, we have seen in the past, I believe it was a couple years ago, Purdue lost to a 16 seed.
Fairleigh Dickinson. They did it twice, 2 years in a row, but I can't remember the other team that beat them.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
the first
And
round.
that takes us right on to the next matchup. Let's talk Purdue and this team right here,
High Point.
the High Point.
What's this?
I'm not gonna really touch on this that much. Purdue is favored -400. They're opening as a 10.5-point favorite. Some key players for Purdue: Trey Kaufman-Renn and Braden Smith, while High Point has Keza Griffa and Demarion Williams. Some notable wins for Purdue is a win over Alabama Crimson Tide and a win over Michigan, while High Point has wins over teams like UAB, UNC Asheville Bulldogs, and Winthrop Eagles. I believe Winthrop a couple years ago was in the in the bracket, but not this year. Just the level competitions not the same. Give me Purdue to win this game.
Again, be careful with these games, especially with Purdue's history the last couple of years. But I would agree that Purdue is ready to go. They're fired up. Clemson Purdue in the round of 32 here. That'll be a good game, but we'll come back to that here in a second when we get to the round of 32. I'm going to go up to – let me see. Who do I need to pick here? I guess I need to pick some of the well, I made 2 picks on top. I'm going to let you pick in the West between Florida and Norfolk.
Okay, I was going straight now. Let me see. Florida and Norfolk.
Or whoever you want to, whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna finish out. I'm gonna just go ahead and finish out this the Midwest bracket.
Okay.
So we got Illinois and the winner of Texas or Xavier.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Illinois is going to win. I really don't think you're gonna have an upset either Texas or Xavier. I'm just going to go ahead and say Illinois. Illinois has been a great basketball program over the years, and they've made some deep runs. I believe making some Final Four, some Elite Eights and Sweet 16s there. So I'm fully confident that Illinois can do it once again. Let's move on to Kentucky versus Troy. Kentucky is favored by 11.5 points. Money line is -600. Their top players is Otega Owa and Jackson Robinson, while Troy's is Tatum Conaway and Miles Rigsby. Some notable wins for Kentucky is like Gonzaga, Duke, Tennessee, and while Troy has wins over Arkansas State's James Madison's of the world. Kentucky, they did have a embarrassing upset. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but they did lose in the round.
I think it was last year in the first round against like Oral Roberts.
Yeah, they lost in the very first round. But guess what, Ballard? I am very confident that Kentucky's going to win. They're going to learn their mistake from last time. Kentucky's going to win this game pretty handily. Let's move on to UCLA versus Utah State. This is a much closer pick, but I'm still going to roll with UCLA here. They are favored by 5.5 points. Now, honestly, if you out there that's doing this bracket and you want to pick Utah State for the upset, I would say this is a favorable matchup for Utah State to make the upset there. But like I said, UCLA is favored by 5.5, minus 200 to 10. Their top player, UCLA top players, is Tyler Bildo, not Dildo, but Bildo. Eric Daly. UCLA notable wins there is at Arizona State. At Arizona versus Gonzaga versus Michigan State, while Utah State has notable wins over Iowa, San Diego, and St. Mary's. So a little bit closer matchup here. But like I said, I'm going to pick UCLA because it is the safe pick. I do want to get as many correct as I can, but I know there will be upsets, and trust me, I will pick up some upsets. But last year we really didn't see. I mean, we did see, I believe, the Kentucky upset, but outside of that Kentucky upset, we really didn't see too many upsets there. So, but I am going to go with UCLA to win, and then to end the Midwest, you got Tennessee versus Wofford. Tennessee is just on a laser right now. They're favored by 19.5 points at minus 5,000 on the money line. Some notable players for Tennessee: Chaz Lanier and Zeki Ziegler. Tennessee has wins over Baylor, Illinois, Florida, Auburn, and Alabama. So they are like really hot right now, while Wofford has some notable wins under like UNC, Greensboro Spartans, and Furman and St. Louis Billikens. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Tennessee. They're going to be playing in Lexington, Kentucky, right near Tennessee, not far away from Tennessee. So their drive ain't going to be too much of a drive. So that's going to round out the Midwest. And then for the West, I'm going to go ahead and do the West really quick because them are my two brackets. And then I'll give you, Ballard, the reins on the other two brackets. You can pick whoever you want. Let's start out with Florida, Norfolk State. Florida is a heavy favorite. They're going to be favored by 27.5 points. Some top players for Florida, obviously, got Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin. Some notable wins: North Carolina, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee. Florida's one of the best in the SEC and one of the best in the nation. You got some notable players for Norfolk: Brian Moore and Christian Ings. They don't really have they beat High Point, which is in this bracket, which is in the first round. But other than that, they don't really have a notable win there. So go ahead and give me Florida to win that game. Up next is UConn versus Oklahoma, a very interesting game. Oklahoma beat my Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC tournament. I did watch that game, and then we went live also, in addition to that as well. UConn is favored by 4.5. So if you do want to make an upset pick, if you're feeling a little crazy and you want to go Oklahoma here, this is the time to do it. UConn's only favored by minus 4.5, and the money line's at minus 195. anything, if I say 5.5 or under, I mean, that's a good chance that you can go ahead and pick the lower seed to win. The higher seed to win, sorry. Some top players, Solo Ball for UConn and Liam McNeely. Some notable wins, Baylor, Texas, St. John's, Creighton, Marquette. Some good heavy hitters there. Oklahoma's notable win is coming from Arizona. But the only bad part about Oklahoma is they lost to teams like Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, teams that they needed to win to at least make me a believer out of them. So with that being said, I am going to go with UConn to win this game.
I like the pick. I really do like the pick. I'm not a big believer on Oklahoma too much. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if an upset happens here. I think this is I feel like Oklahoma got like punched in the gut with this draw playing UConn right out the gate. But it makes for us the fans, it gives us that quality entertainment we muchly deserve.
For sure. Up next, we got Colorado State and Memphis. I'm trying to go through this pretty fast because it is like almost 2:00 in the morning here, and we wanted to get some content out. So if I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. Just put the video on 0.5 and slow it down a little bit. Anyways, so Colorado State is actually favored to win this game over Memphis. Believe it or not, they open up as a 2.5-point favorite, and they're favored 100 minus 135 on the money line. So interesting there. So Memphis has PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger, and their notable wins. Clemson Tigers, they won on the road. And then they beat Ole Miss. They beat UConn. They beat Michigan State. I think I already said that. But and then while you have Colorado State beat teams like Utah State, Boise State, and Nevada Wolfpack. I'm going to be honest with you, Ballard. I do want to pick 1-5-12 upset. So go ahead.
You have to. It's part of the law of bracketology. You have to pick at least 1-5-12.
That's my 5-12 upset there. Give me
Colorado State.
Give me Colorado State.
I like it. That might be the best bet too. Like, I don't see McNeese getting Clemson, but I could see Colorado State getting Memphis. As good as the team Memphis is, like Colorado State, man, they're on a roll right now. They really are.
Yeah, for sure. And also, let's go ahead and talk about Maryland and Grand Canyon. Maryland is favored by 10.5 minus 650. Maryland has Derek Queen and Jacoby Gillespie. Their notable wins is Ohio State. They got Illinois win, Wisconsin win. While you got GCU, Jacoby Coles, Tyon Grant Foster, their notable wins. Stanford, St. Louis Billikens, Seattle Redhawks, and Utah Valley Wolverines. Go ahead and give me Maryland to win this game. I don't think it's going to be necessarily close, but good luck to the 13th ranked seed in Grand Canyon. They've been in this. I wouldn't count Grand Canyon out of it totally. They have been in this situation plenty of times, but they've also lost plenty of times. So I think Maryland's going to take care of business there. Let's go ahead and see Missouri versus Drake. Missouri is only favored by 6.5 points, minus 275 on the money line. Missouri's top players is Mark Mitchell and Caleb Grill. Their notable wins is at home versus Kansas. They have a win over Alabama and a win on the road at Florida. So really good team there. Also, you have Drake has notable wins versus Miami, which is a good win. Kansas State. You also have Bradley Braves, Vanderbilt, Florida Atlantic. But Drake's only lost 3 games all year. Missouri's, lost 11, which that don't really matter whenever you're talking about this tournament. I am going to go with Missouri here, but don't be surprised if there is an upset in this particular game. I just don't see it. You got Texas Tech and UNC Willington. Texas Tech has JT Toppin and Darion Williams. Their notable wins is Arizona, Houston, Baylor, Kansas, and then you have UNCW, Donovan Newby, and Kamari McGriff. Their notable wins is Sam Houston Bearcats, Florida Gulf Coast Eagles, East Carolina Pirates, App State Mountaineers, Charleston Cougars. Texas Tech is favored by 15.5, and money line is minus 2,000. Go ahead and give me Texas Tech to win this game. I believe that's a safe pick there. And I'll tell you why I'm picking. I have a strategy, so I'm going to tell you why at the end of these last couple of games right here that I'm going through on why I pick certain teams. You got a 7-10 matchup, Kansas versus Arkansas. Kansas is only favored by 5.5, minus 200. Their top players is Hunter Dickinson and Zeke Mayo. Their notable wins is at Duke versus Iowa State and Arizona Wildcats, while Arkansas, their notable wins is versus Kentucky on the road and versus Texas on the road. Their notable players is Odu Thero and Boogie Fland. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Kansas. They've been here before. They're more experienced, and I gotta go with Kansas. They have the most experience, and although Arkansas can make an upset here, it's just highly unlikely. And for the last one of my pick on the round of 64, you got St. John's and Omaha. St. John's is minus 17.5, minus 5,000. Their top players is R.J. Lewis and Zuby. I don't even know how to Ejiofor. Their notable wins is Marquette, Creighton, UConn, and the other team, Omaha. Their top players is Markel Sutton and J.J. White. Their notable wins is really only to St. Thomas, Minnesota Tommies. Go ahead and give me St. John's to win this pretty easily. But my philosophy kind of on this first round of 64 is I did pick all the number 1 seeds to win, all the number 2 seeds to win, and all the number 3 seeds to win. And then after that, I did pick a 5-12 upset. I was going to pick an 8-9 upset. I just didn't want to be too risky there. So that was kind of my upset, the 5-12 upset that I said earlier. So that's kind of my
one you picked for those just tuning in. The one he did pick was Colorado State over Memphis, which I like I said too. I think that's probably. Oh, hold on. That's probably the most likely one of what you could have picked too. So.
Yeah, and that's. I didn't. I do want to have a method to the madness here whenever I'm picking these teams and stuff like that. So I did pick all the number 1, all the number 2, and all the number 3 seeds to go on to the next round. And I did pick the 5-12 upset. And then I kind of picked the favorites in the up 8-9s and the other ones. So that was kind of how I strategized. And as far as the next several rounds, I do have a Final Four in mind. So I just chose them to advance all the way until they get to the Final Four. And then the other teams, I just kind of figured which one was better. So that's my strategy going into these brackets here.
All right. I like it. With that being said, we're going to jump to the top of the bracket. We have, well, let me make sure I want to start here. So I went ahead and picked Auburn, Duke, just because some of these teams, those first two at least, are playing. They're waiting for like these, not the NIT, but like the first four. And one of those teams for Auburn that they could play is Alabama State. And then I'm going to be honest, I'm not even sure who Duke could end up playing, but I ended up just going ahead and advancing them to the round of 32. I think they're just that good. But it is March Madness where anything is possible. I guess you just kind of take some picks on your bracket before the games tip off and you just hope for the best. And with that being said, got some good teams I could pick from here on this side of the bracket. We're going to stick to the South region. I want to look at Louisville and Creighton. Now, this is actually pretty interesting. Louisville and Creighton. Creighton's been there, done that. I think they were a 12 seed last year or like an 11 seed. They were a little bit lower. Um, I'm pretty sure, but they had an interesting run. I think they ended up making the Elite Eight either last year or year before. But this year, they have looked pretty solid. They won 4 of their last 5 games, one of which was against the 2-time champions in UConn and Dan Hurley, who I guess is not going to the Lakers, from my understanding. And they beat teams like Seton Hall, Butler. Um, I know those sound like nobody teams, probably because we're mostly in a college football community, but those are really good basketball teams. And one of those against DePaul was 85-81 in double overtime. Louisville is only favored by 2.5, 47.5% chance to win. It is in Kentucky, where Louisville is. It's at Rep Arena, home of the Kentucky Wildcats over there in Lexington. I'm going to say this is not an easy game to pick. I almost want to flip a coin, but the 8-9, the 5-12s are the ones where the upsets happen. I don't think it's this one. I think Louisville, I think with their defensive front there on the court, I think they can get it done. I think they will play Auburn in the round of 32. What do you think?
For sure.
All right. Michigan and California, San Diego. 2.5-point spread favors Michigan. Danny Wolf, Vladislav Golden, Tyler McGee, Annie Waniwa Tate Jones is on San Diego. Sorry, I'm butchering some of these names for real, man. This is unacceptable. Now, these are not bad teams, but 3 losses, practically 3 straight here, I guess. Michigan State twice and Maryland. Michigan can lose some big games. It would not surprise me if this is the 5-12 upset. I'm not too confident in Michigan, but I'm also not sold, nor do I know too much about this San Diego team here. I um I I'm I could regret this because of Michigan choking in big time games. We've seen that happen this year. But I'm going to pick them for right now. I'm going to do that, but I hold my breath. Texas A&M and Yale. Oh, that's who beat Auburn last year, right? Yale? I think so. 7.5 points. Aggies. Wade Taylor, Zurich Phelps, Nick Townsend, and John Polikitis. Quite a few losses for A&M on the year. They're 22-10. They are a 4 seed. Yale is 22-7, but they haven't played quite the schedule that Texas A&M has played. I think Texas A&M is battle tested, and I think they're in a good position to win this game. So I'll go there. Rapid fire through some of these. I think some of these are obvious. One of these teams could be North Carolina, so I'll be careful. This is a play-in game, I think, between San Diego State and UNC against Ole Miss. You can't preview this yet because I don't know who is playing in this game against the Rebels. I'm going to take the Rebels at the moment, but again, this could be something we revisit later on if we get that result. And it's like North Carolina or San Diego State, both of which have made Final Fours and national titles recently. So, Iowa State and Lipscomb. Okay. 25-9, 24-9, 3 versus 14, 13.5 point spread, blah, blah, blah. I like Iowa State. I really do. I think that's the obvious pick here. They did lose to Auburn in November when the season first got going. They've lost quite a few games. They've lost 9, but they're still a really good team, being one of the top seeds in this region of the bracket. I just think Iowa State is in a really good position. I think that what they've been able to do this season, when you look at guys like Keyshawn Gilbert, when you look at Joshua Jefferson, when you look at all these guys that they have that come together at the right time, can put together great games. I think when they get into the close games, that's where they struggle. When they can play a game where they can blow someone out, they can put on a good game, defense and offense. But they struggle in the close games. If Iowa State lets Lipscomb play them close and they lose, this bracket is busted. I'm having faith in the Cyclones here. Don't let me down. All right. Okay. Marquette, New Mexico. This actually could be an interesting game here. Better record is New Mexico. Marquette, a little bit more experience, I think, when it comes to these tournaments. They're favored by 3.5. Marquette is. Cam Jones, David Joplin. I could go down the list. They did beat Purdue. They lost to Iowa State, UConn, St. John's. Good teams here. They lose mostly to these big-time schools, but they did beat Purdue pretty handily. New Mexico did beat UCLA, lost to St. John's, Utah State, San Diego State. Give me New Mexico here. I'm going to call an upset in a 7-10 game. What do you think about that so far, Mayhem?
I think you're doing a great job, picking these games. It's just kind of like a shot in the dark whenever you're choosing these games. It's not hard. It's not easy to predict these tournaments. Nobody has ever had a perfect bracket, and we're trying to be the first ones to do it. Hopefully, on and live on this channel. If we ever did get the perfect bracket, Ballard, that your channel would blow up tremendously. Everybody would come to see how we filled out the bracket and everything. This would have millions of views on it. But even
if we got like one game, like let's say one game in the round of 64, but yet everybody else that advanced in our bracket was like, you got everybody except that New Mexico game or that Iowa State game or something. Even if we miss one out of 63, like if we could come close to a perfect bracket, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but like I was saying, it's just extremely difficult to pick games, and no game is 100% locked in. But there are some more favorable matchups, like a 1 versus 16 matchup. Whenever you get to like the 5, 12, and 8 and 9s, like you were talking about earlier, them are the teams that you look at and say, okay, which ones do you want to call an upset, and which ones that you don't. And that's where it gets kind of sticky, because we have seen in past where 1 and 16 seeds went up against each other, and the 16 team has won. And you want to follow like the rule of pick all the 1s, pick all the 2s, and pick all the 3s, like I did personally. But that can come back to bite me in the butt as well, as it did maybe a few years ago whenever Kentucky lost and whenever Purdue lost and teams like that lost in the very first round. But like I said, nothing is for sure 100% it's going to happen. They got to play it on the basketball court. But yeah, I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And then once we get done with the round of 64, it will go a little bit faster because we already previewed all these teams. All we just got to do now is just pick who we like better.
Well, let's get it moving. Michigan State and Bryant. I'm on the clock to make that pick here. Bryant is an interesting team that some people projected Alabama will get them. They ended up getting Robert Morris in the first round over here. We'll get to that soon. But I can't keep picking every upset. I mean, Michigan State's really, really good. They've been there, done that in the dance. They've made a Final Four. They've won a bunch of accolades, I would say, and I think that they're just a winning basketball program. Give me Michigan State. That being said, is that all of it for the first round? I think so. Looks like it.
You didn't pick the other. You didn't.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I got to pick the East. That's right. Okay. That's my bad. Mississippi State and Baylor. Baylor, probably a better all-time basketball program. Mississippi State, what is the spread or anything on this? Do they have one? 1.5 Mississippi State. 21-12 Mississippi State. 8 and 9 is one of the upsets that we see. I did already pick an 8 seed, but I don't have to pick upsets. Let's go Bulldogs. Maybe Mississippi State. Up next, 5 and 12.
I mean, I will say this. I'll say this real quick. I do believe Mississippi State Bulldogs. I don't know how much of a hot take this is, and I don't know how many Bulldog teams there are, but outside of, Gonzaga, I guess outside of Gonzaga, Mississippi State and Gonzaga are probably the 2 best Bulldog teams in the NCAA basketball right now. So yeah, I would, I think that's a pretty good pick. You can really go either way on that one, Baylor or Mississippi State. Speaking of Mississippi State, I do want to throw this fun fact in. SEC has 14 out of the 16 teams in this bracket, by the way.
Yes. Mississippi State being one of them.
Yeah, so you think whenever you think that SEC is only a football conference, well, think again. We're a basketball conference too.
Yeah, just a bunch of football skews. Well, they got basketball too. So, yeah. How about Oregon and Liberty? Let's see. This is a 5-12. Oregon's okay. They're pretty good. 24-9, but Liberty 28-6. Oregon favored by 6.5. Um mm, they beat Kansas State, beat Middle Tennessee, La Tech, they split. Shoot the three often and efficiently. I like what I'm hearing. This could be another 5-12 upset, but yeah, give me Liberty. Give me the Flames over Oregon. Oregon's really good, but when they get to that big stage, they not so good. I mean, they look okay on the court, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they get bounced in that game. It just wouldn't. So, Arizona and Akron. Arizona. Some of these I'll rapid fire through. I think BYU beats VCU. I don't even know who VCU is. Who is this? Google search. Where is this? Virginia Commonwealth in Richmond, Virginia. They're always in the tournament. They've been in there the last couple of years, but they haven't done anything. Give me BYU. Wisconsin, Montana, St. Mary's, Vandy, Alabama also in there. I'm honestly, I don't see a reason to pick any upsets with these next few games. Wisconsin. Well, okay, Vandy, maybe. What do you think about Vanderbilt? Do you have any
I mean,
thoughts?
this is 100% your pick. You allowed me to make my picks, but St.
Yeah.
Mary's has a lot of skin in this game. I wouldn't pick against St. Mary's, but like I said, you allowed me to make my pick, so
Yeah.
it's totally up to you, man.
St. Mary's has a better record. They're a higher seed. They are favored. Beat Nebraska, USC, Utah, Boise State. Beat Gonzaga twice. Yeah, I'll take them. That's not bad. And then Alabama and Robert Morris. Now, Robert Morris is a well-known pastor. We can't beat up on a pastor, can we? Like, anyway, Bama's obviously going to win this game. Now, how far they go, I don't know. I like Mark Sears. I like Grant Nelson. That Omari Warrior or whatever his last name is, they got this new guy come in. They got a couple new guys come in.
Do you like Robert Morris?
I like Alabama to win this game.
I'm talking about the pastor.
Oh, I mean, he had a good series that I did a Bible study on.
All right. So does that wrap up the first of 64?
It does. We are now in the round of 32.
So we've already previewed all these teams, so
We should be able to rapid fire through the rest.
There's really no reason to preview them again because we already previewed them. So we're going to go ahead and rapid fire. Florida, UConn, I got Florida.
Okay.
Maryland, Colorado State, I got Maryland.
Okay.
It was a nice run, Colorado State, but you're going to lose to Maryland there. Texas Tech, Missouri, I got Texas Tech. And then I got Kansas, the 7 seed, upsetting the number 2 seed in St. John's.
Quote unquote upsetting, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, they are the lowest on the as far as the Midwest goes.
Yeah,
I got Gonzaga upsetting
Houston.
Over Houston, yep.
Okay.
Right. I didn't make too many bold picks in the first round. I got to get in my bag and make some upsets here. I got another upset here. I got Clemson beating Purdue.
Okay.
I have.
I like this.
I do have another upset.
Illinois.
I got Illinois beating Kentucky.
Okay.
And I have Tennessee beating UCLA.
I think these upsets are going to be great too if they actually go through with this. Okay. So we rapid fire through your round of 32. I'm going to rapid fire through mine. Duke and Mississippi State. I think Duke is too much, like Cooper Flag and everybody. Give me the Blue Devils here. Liberty. I do think they could be that 12 seed. I think they got a lot of good talent. I think they're built for it. Give me Liberty with another upset here over Arizona. Let's stick to the East. BYU and Wisconsin, Alabama St. Mary's. Let's go BYU here. I'm confident in that. Another upset. This is going to be a wild March Madness for real. Alabama St. Mary's. Give me Alabama here. I don't even have to explain myself, do I? I don't think that's right. Auburn and Louisville. I got Auburn, but Louisville could be dangerous. I think they have some really good scorers. I think they play good on defense, really on both sides of the ball. But Auburn is going to be hot with Janai Broome. Michigan, Texas A&M. Could go either way. You could get another SEC team in here, and I think we get that. I think A&M takes care of Michigan. Ole Miss, Iowa State. Iowa State, I've loved all year long. I'm not changing my mind on that. New Mexico upsets Marquette. Plays Michigan State. Michigan State with a better record. Jaden Atkins, Jace Richardson. But New Mexico is a higher scoring team, but Michigan State knows defense. Give me Michigan's. I don't feel good about this pick, but I'm going to go the Spartans. I really don't feel good about either one of those teams because that could go either way, honestly. So now we have our Sweet 16 set, Mayhem.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let you go ahead and go. Florida, Maryland.
So Florida, Maryland. I got Florida winning this game. They're a heavy hitter. They're gonna be red hot in this tournament. Texas Tech, Kansas. I got Kansas winning the game. Some of the normal people are gonna make it pretty far. Duke, Arizona. That could be an upset, but not today. Not so fast, my friend. I got Duke going ahead and winning that game.
Wait, what? Wait.
Wait, whoa. I'm sorry.
You're talking about a game. I didn't even pick Arizona. I picked Liberty.
I'm
You're
sorry.
going up to the top of the bracket.
I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you, man?
I'm sorry. I was reading it straight down. We got the Midwest. Sorry, Gonzaga, Clemson. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys. Yes, we are doing the bracket challenge on ESPN, Dylan. Midwest. Let's go to the Midwest. Sorry about that, guys. Gonzaga, Clemson. I am torn. I'm going to come right back to that. Illinois and Tennessee. This is where Tennessee had a great run. I'm picking Illinois.
Ooh, okay. I am the dagger.
I am so torn on this 5-8 pick. I mean, I want to pick Clemson so bad. They've had a great year. But something tells me in my heart to pick Gonzaga. I am going to pick Gonzaga. This is going to hurt. especially if Clemson goes on to win. I had Clemson in my Final Four, but I'm gonna have Gonzaga winning here, going on to this Elite Eight. Man, I hate that, but I'm going to go with Gonzaga here to win over Clemson. Clemson has had the best year in Clemson history, and I think it ends in the Sweet 16, unfortunately.
Okay. And that is all of your Sweet 16 picks there?
Yeah.
It looks like it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm up. Okay. Auburn and Texas A&M. No, let's come back to that. That's going to be a good game. I want to come back to it. Duke and Liberty. Duke, no Mike Krzyzewski, but they're still looking pretty good. Cooper Flagg's out there. He's balling, shot calling, doing all this and that. Great defense. One of the more consistent teams all year long. Does it catch up to them in this game? Liberty, are they that 12 seed that makes a Cinderella run? Not against Duke. Not against Duke. I got Duke winning that one. They move on. Alabama made the Final Four last year. This is my Crimson Tide. I love my Crimson Tide. But if it's based on history, studies have shown that they fall in the Sweet 16. This is why this one's so tough. I always fall in the Sweet 16 outside of last year and 2004 they made the Elite Eight, the farthest they ever went in outside of the Final Four run from a year ago. I want to pick Bama. I just have to, right? I'm not picking them to win it. They're going to fall somewhere, but they will advance to the Elite Eight. They'll beat BYU. You can come back up here. Auburn, Texas A&M. This is where I think the Aggies are built for it. I'm going to say they upset Auburn. What do you say to that before I get into my next pick?
I mean,
Could it happen?
It could happen. Anything happen in these brackets.
Oh, yeah. Who else we got here? Michigan State, Iowa State. Give me Iowa State.
Okay.
Yeah. Upsets late in the bracket. Now, you have what are we at? The Elite Eight?
Yeah.
Florida, Kansas, and Gonzaga, Illinois.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. Kansas, you had a great run. Florida's gonna win.
Okay.
I'm not really sorry. I mean, I am sorry because I want Florida to lose, but Florida's just they're a great team. If I'm being unbiased, Gonzaga, Illinois. I did pick Gonzaga to upset Clemson. That's going to be a huge win for Gonzaga. It's going to be such a huge win that I think they fall to Illinois. I think they're going to be really excited over that win. And Gonzaga is one of them teams that always fall. They're like this overhyped team every single year. People pick them to win the championship every single year, and then they fall. So I can't pick them to be in the Final Four, unfortunately. I have Illinois winning this game.
I like it. I like Illinois. I like Gonzaga too, but had to come down to the Elite Eight, right? Just had to. Okay. So that those teams go to the Final Four. We got Duke and Alabama, and we got Texas A&M and Iowa State. We're rapid fire, and I'm going to take Iowa State and I'm going to take Duke. I think this is where Bama falls, man. What do you think? Is Duke that good? Could they stop us, you think?
I have Duke in my Final Four.
You have them in the Final Four? Yeah. I think they're that good, man. I think that would be a boat race, though. That would be a really awesome game down to the wire. I mean, but it comes down to this, like, that's one of those games with Duke and Alabama where they have the offense on both sides. You got Grant Nelson, you got Mark Sears, then you got Cooper Flag for Duke. But who's got the better defense? And so far this year, Duke has shown me more promise than Alabama, in my opinion. But I hate that Alabama falls short in this bracket once again, but they had a really good run as a 2 seed. Duke making the Final Four. Okay, here's what we're going to do, Mayhem. Do we have enough people watching that we have a few? Y'all type in the chat. Like, who do y'all want to advance in this one? Should we leave it up to the chat, or should you pick one and I pick one?
It's
How
up
do
to
you
you.
want to do this?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to
This
do.
is hard.
I mean, I know who I have, but it's up to you.
Well, who do you have? Go ahead and let us know.
My final two, which is crazy
Uh-huh.
that it's really crazy that the two teams that I have going in my bracket are still in after you picked half of the bracket and I picked half. That's kind of crazy
Yeah.
that they're still in there. I have Florida versus Duke for all the marbles.
I like that. So a battle of number 1 seeds here.
The
Okay.
only other two teams that I do have that's not on there is Michigan State, and that's it. That's the only team I have. Michigan State instead of Iowa State, but the other three teams I actually had in my Final Four. I had Florida and Duke advancing, but you can leave it up to chat. I mean, it don't really matter to me. I don't think anybody's typing in the chat. I mean, if y'all.
We have a good crowd. We have like 5 watching, which I love and
Mhm.
appreciate you guys, but we need some chat interaction, man. We need a little bit more of that. But yeah, we probably won't leave it up to the chat here. If someone comes on real quick, well, Nate says Omaha gonna shock the world, which it's too late for that, buddy. It's all right. um, okay, let's go. I think Florida could do it. I'm gonna put Florida in,
I'm
and
picking.
I'm gonna put Illinois as an upset. I'm gonna go 1 versus 6. What do you say?
I say I disagree, but whatever.
Okay, you would probably take Duke, right? Or
Yeah,
would you? Huh?
yeah, I would.
Okay. And again, either way.
Yeah,
But let's say this.
I think Florida's
What
going to win.
is
I do believe Florida's winning it all though.
you do?
I
Okay,
really,
so
I
let's
really,
say this. If it came down to Florida, Illinois for the title,
Florida's
how
winning
many
it.
total? Well, I know, but how many total points? Like how high scoring you think could it be? Because we got to put that in too.
171.
Total?
Yeah.
You think it'd be high scoring then? Quite a bit, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like it. Wait, what did I? Oh, we forgot to pick the actual champion here. Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will enter the Coors Light March Hoops Bracket Challenge for a chance to win $30,000. Must be 21 or older. And agree. ESPN will share your name and email. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Submit bracket. It's in. Florida is our champion. Yeah, let's do it.
Now, do you want to do? Well, is that going to be it?
What do you have?
I was just going to rapid
Sorry,
fire.
out loud.
I was just going to rapid fire my picks that I had in my official predictions, just so I can say it online.
Yeah. For all of them? For all of them?
Yeah, I'm just gonna like rapid fire.
I mean, it's like 1:30 here. I mean, if you want to like, uh, is it possible we do another show before we get all
Yeah, we
like
can
the
do another
bracket started? Or yeah,
but, yeah. I like the bracket, man.
you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a fun bracket to pick, man. We picked Florida over Iowa State, and what do we do? Duke over Illinois, or did we do either way? Florida wins. Florida over Illinois in the championship. It's in San Antonio, Texas, on April 7th this year. So
Yeah, I think we did really good.
I thought so too. Now on my own time, I need to do a Bama bias just in case we do win it.
I mean, of
You should
course,
do an all Georgia one just in case. Like you can make like 10 brackets, I think. Something
yeah, I'm
or 25.
yeah, I am gonna make an all Georgia one, and I'm gonna already made my mayhem prediction,
Yeah.
and then we did the touchdowns prediction. So I'll go back.
Yeah.
I'll go back and rewatch the stream, especially watch hours, and then I'll put in the picks because I didn't do it while we were doing it in real time. So I'll just go back and make the picks, just so I have a chance to, have a correct bracket if we do possibly get the correct bracket right.
Yeah.
Always want that perfect bracket if we can get it. So we got 6 people in here, man. That's the most we've had watching all stream, and we're about to get off here. So
Yeah.
it sucks, man. Wish this was 2:00 in the afternoon with 6 people watching. Let me know down in the chat who y'all think is going to win really quickly. If y'all want to say anything, now's the time to say something before we end the stream because Ballard wants to go to bed and all that stuff. So you need to, if you want to say something, now's the time to say something. Nate the Great says this is Omaha's first appearance in the big dance. Nate the Great, he also says he's got Michigan State winning it all. Omaha was supposed to be winning it all, according to Nate the Great. He's going to shock the world now. Michigan State's going to shock the world. I think next he's going to say Michigan's going to shock the world. Not everybody can shock the world, but one person that can shock the world is Ballard Sports Media. So that's why you need to subscribe.
Yeah.
To this channel. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel because Christian.
It's like when
world.
It's like Cat Daddy from Paul Feinbaum talking about his Palmetto Moonshine and his South Carolina Gamecocks. Paul, they gonna shock the world.
And, shout out to Millis Vanillis, Lawn Tractor Life. How you doing today, sir? Nice to see you in the chat. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to Ballard Sports Media. Check out his content. He does a great job. He posts whenever he can. He's a busy man. He's got busy plans, and he's got some great plans for his channel. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to his channel. And as always, love doing the show with you, man. We're gonna get on out of here because it is 2:30 in the morning, and I got to get to work in the morning. So,
yeah, man, I feel you. I got to get some rest. I got to work tomorrow night. So,
yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think we was gonna go an hour and 20 minutes. I thought we were gonna go maybe 30, 35 minutes.
I'm surprised I stayed up this time. That's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, but anyways, hit the like button, guys. We're staying up late just for y'all.
Oh, yeah. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. God bless. And Mayhem, if you got anything else, let them know.
Go friggin' dogs.